Melissa, thanks so much for taking some time to hang with me today. I appreciate it.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Good, 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 good. Okay, so we're talking about stress and overwhelm today. And particularly, I want to hear, as you're working with business owners, consulting with people, coaching people, what are the top sources of stress and overwhelm that you find?
Oh, I know. Well, I think that a lot of it is they don't have energy to do it all. And I work primarily with women, and I think women feel like they have to do it all. And, we're balancing work and family and all the in between, and the energy is just kind of going out the window. So that's one of the big things. And a lot of it too I don't know. I mean, I would say, can we wait? Beep, beep.
No, you're fine. You're good.
It's okay. So let me go back. So people get overwhelmed because they don't have the energy to do it all. And I work a lot with women, and a lot of the time women feel like they have to do it all. I don't know why society, or I don't know.
I ask my wife all the time, I go, okay, so you're doing that big default. Why don't you just ask me to do it? And she's like, it's just easier if I do it. You're going to ask me a lot of questions. I don't want to answer those.
It's so true. Oh my gosh, I'm the same way. But when we don't ask for help, then we're drained, and we can't give ourselves to our families, our friends, and our businesses the way that we should. So energy is a huge thing. And then it's, where do we start? It's the overwhelm of finding solutions to give us those answers, really. We want those answers, but where do we find them?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm hearing you say the need to kind of do it all, and then the overwhelm of just where to begin, where to find those answers. We've got questions about specific things, and we're going, where do I find those? People jump onto Facebook groups and they're asking, and then they get a bazillion opinions, obviously.
Yes.
So those are two places that you find. Take me back in the midst of you owning your own businesses and growing businesses. What were some things that you felt like were most stressful or overwhelming for you?
Trying to do it all.
Same thing.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have desires, obviously, like any business person does. You want to be able to get your passion into the world. And sometimes you use your emotions to get to catapult that, but you really have to look at what are those steps to actually get my message and my voice into the world. But where do you go to find that? And when I started my entrepreneurial journey over 20 years ago, that was the number one thing that I kept asking myself. Where can I go to get the answers to my questions? And I mean, this was before all of the resources of the internet were available. I was in those do you remember chat rooms where you would, oh my gosh, chat rooms, you'd go in and be like, hey, I'm looking for a graphic designer. And then you just hope that somebody recommended a good person.
Sure.
So it was that where I wanted the answers, but I didn't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also juggling, my family life as well. And so I think that if I had had a little bit more direction on where to go to get answers, while also cooking dinner and doing the laundry and making sure that my children were alive,
yes,
that business ownership probably would have been a little bit more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Take us back. What was the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, and how did that get you to kind of where you are now?
Yeah. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I love this, but over 20 years ago, I started a handmade card and invitation business. And that came from this love that I started with my grandma. We used to make cards together. It was this special time that we had. And when I was in my early 20s, I actually made our wedding invitations for us. And, people just were like, hey, can you do this? And can you do this? And it blossomed into this business. And through that creative outlet, I also got into scrapbooking. It's not a thing as much as it used to be, but I worked at scrapbook stores, and people would pay me to make their scrapbook pages. And I was also on some online design teams. And with that, Um, a good scrapbook page is only as good as its photo. And so I wanted to learn how to refine my photography to make my pages stand out so I could be published more in magazines. And I had taken a couple years of photography back in high school, but I really wanted to learn the digital world because that's where it was going, film more into digital.
So back in high
So,
school, was that darkroom?
yes.
Black and white. Okay. I did that for 8 years straight. All through, I was the head photographer for my high school and head photographer for my college, and oversaw all the photography for yearbook and newspaper. I won a bunch of awards for sports photography. And I've worked at a newspaper as a sports photographer in high school. So
Oh my
I've,
gosh.
I've spent a lot of time. I think a lot of brain cells are dead because of that developer, chemicals. So,
Your hands smell like that developer. Yes.
oh yeah.
But there's nothing like that. Putting that paper in the developer and just seeing, I mean,
Yeah. It's
it's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah. Every time, you ever watch those movies and it's like you see them take pictures and then they go back to the dark room and like it's like the undercover photos, They don't do that anymore. Now they just look on the camera. It's like, I just loved it when they'd flip over the paper and it's like, there's the person we're supposed to catch.
I know. But isn't that the way that society has gone? Like instant gratification. We need instant gratification. We're not willing to wait like we used to. But yeah, I know there's nothing like a dark room like that. Oh, so good.
You got into digital photography.
Oh, yes. So I got into digital photography and started refining my skills. I sought out a mentor and started taking classes online. And people started asking me to take their pictures. So it was great for my scrapbooking pages, but it really naturally morphed into people saying, hey, can you take my family's photos, et cetera, et cetera. So long story short, that's how I got into photography. And I was a professional photographer for over 10 years. I started out in Arizona, and when we moved back to Southern California is when I started to really blossom in my business. And I got to photograph so many incredible clients. Some of them were NFL football players, which I love football. So I say that because I'm very proud of it and it's exciting. But I also got to teach other photographers all over the world online. And throughout that process, I realized I really love helping women build businesses. Because when I was younger, I actually had some adults tell me, you're probably not going to make very much of yourself. Because on paper, I really shouldn't be successful if you want to look at it statistically. And those words from those adults crushed me. And I had to decide, do I let them define me or do I say, just watch me? And that's what I did. So I did everything that I could to learn in every area that I started to become passionate about. How can I be the best at this? And that was where photography was. And so I knew there were other women like me out there that didn't necessarily have a background or a degree. And I wanted to help them feel like if they had a passion or desire to have a business, that they could do it and I could help them. So that's how I started this.
That's where you are. Yeah. With the blush pages. Yeah. So amazing. What a journey. Yeah. I remember all of those eras that you went through there, from the photography to the scrapbooking. I'm sure we've got a lot of those scrapbooks around here. So yeah, that's amazing. Okay. So people are wondering, what do I do next? How do I, not, have this desire to do it all? What are some healthy ways to kind of ditch that overwhelm and actually grow a business without all that stress, without all that overwhelm?
Well, first of all, I always tell people boundaries. That's one thing that I wish that I had set at the very beginning of my businesses, is know your limit and stick to that.
How did that not work for you previously?
So when I was knee deep in photography, it was when people would inquire, I felt like I had to respond right away. If I didn't, then I would lose the potential client. And because of that, I was always connected to my computer or my smartphone and not being able to be really present in my relationships and my family. And it was tiring. It was overwhelming. I don't want to be in that space, but I didn't really know how to get out of it. And when I started practicing boundaries of like, I go in at 9 a.m. and I'm done by 4:30, those are my hours. And guess what? People don't die if I don't respond
Sure.
outside of those hours. So that's my number one thing that I tell people. Number two is learn how to hire help. It's okay that you don't know how to do something. You don't need to do it all. Let the people that are professionals in their field help you run your business.
But
So,
I don't have money to hire somebody. It just feels like I can't afford that.
and that's okay. So then you decide, I want to learn how to make my own graphics. And so it's, you're trading money or you're trading time. And you're going to either spend the time on the back end learning how to do all of this, or you're going to maybe then, if you don't have a lot of money to hire the people that have been doing it for years, find one of your creative friends that enjoys doing it that maybe isn't going to charge you very much, or trade for your services. There's lots of ways around this.
It's amazing how much our minds limit possibilities with, whether it's, I don't have enough time, I don't know how to do it, I don't have enough money, I don't know anybody. Our minds just become really limited. And there are so many possibilities today, especially with the internet, of accessing all of these resources. You're pretty much one step away from anything. And, like you said, with the money issue, you do end up getting what you pay for oftentimes, but you can, instead of hiring somebody 10 hours a week, you hire them 2 hours a week, just to get a little bit of benefit. So I love that. Yeah. I was actually a pastor for over 10 years, and I had a, staff of over a dozen people, and management of that staff is just not my favorite thing. So when I transitioned 12 years ago into marketing in my own business, I just said, I don't want to have any employees. I'm just going to do everything on my own. It's just going to be a lot easier. And unfortunately, that limited my capacity to grow for many years, and not until I was able to go, okay, I'm ready to get some other people to help me. Then boom, all of a sudden my time was able to be multiplied. So I love what you're saying. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
If you were to say, now obviously it's different for every single business owner, but if there was a first hire or a first person that would help them, who would that person be?
And you're right, it's different for every business. Graphic designers are big, unless you are, first of all, it's a passion and you want to do it yourself, or you have amazing programs out there that can help you with that. Or a copywriter would be great. Social media marketing would be great. Or even a business coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are,
It's almost like which areas, I guess, in the most pain, where's your biggest pain point?
yes.
And is that pain point something that would actually propel your business forward? Because something could be painful, but it's not going to help your business. It's like, well, you got to figure that out somehow else. But yeah, good. Okay. So you now love helping female entrepreneurs and business owners grow their businesses. And I know recently you've created something to do that, to kind of take away stress, to take away overwhelm, to help them know where to go. It's called the Blush Pages. Why did you call it that? And what is it all about?
Yes. Oh, I'm excited you asked me this. So, years and years ago, like I told you before, I wanted this one-stop shop of resources, community, and education, so that I could spend my time learning how to run my business in one space, not having to ask all these people all over the place, or clicking or asking Google. One space where I could do that, because I have a family and people are busy. We want things to be easier. So I created the Blush Pages as that one-stop shop. And originally I had envisioned it to be this vendor directory. That's why it's the Blush Pages. It's a play off of the Yellow Pages. And I picked blush because it's one of my favorite colors, and it's geared towards women. Men are also welcome, but it's just geared towards women.
Sure.
But it started out as a vendor directory. And throughout the process of pivoting and learning of what the market needed, we added this incredible community and really, really amazing resources for education in there as well. So I am a certified story brand guide, and I am also a certified Enneagram coach, because I believe personal development is one of the key components to business success. And since I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, I have learned a lot of really great things, but I've also made some mistakes. And I created this education called the Success Path within the Blush Pages to help entrepreneurs at any stage of their business be able to have a good foundation on where to start and grow from there. Market, I mean, we cover so many things in there. So it's education, community, and a vendor directory. Those are the three components of the Blush Pages to help entrepreneurs run their businesses easier.
Who would you say is best suited for the Blush Pages, like the absolute ideal person that would get the most out of it?
I would say somebody that's been in business for 2 years or less.
Mm-hmm. And that's somebody whose primary business is online, or part of their business is online?
Yeah, online business entrepreneurship is probably going to benefit the most from this, but people that have brick and mortar businesses are certainly welcome as well.
Yeah,
The stuff applies regardless.
sure. So when we're talking about stress and overwhelm, part of that is setting boundaries. I heard that. Um, Obviously, the Blush Pages can help in terms of having a resource of people that can be a part of your life and encouraging you and providing vendors and all of this. How do you personally, beyond setting boundaries, create a sense of calm or rejuvenation in your life? Like, how do you do that personally?
That is something I feel like I'm always working towards, but
And
I have
you have 3 kids.
I
Like,
do.
that's a lot of, I don't know if they're in sports or activities right now because of, the whole crazy pandemic, but kids have a lot of stuff going on.
They do. They do. I'm working really hard on figuring out what I want to do and what my needs are, so that I can help my cup be filled to be able to pour into my other responsibilities and my family. But I have a deep relationship with Jesus, and so I pray a lot, and I use essential oils and just try to yoga when I remember. But those are three things: prayer, oils, and yoga, that I will try to incorporate into my daily or weekly life, to help center me and keep me calm and grounded, so that I can focus on the things that I know that I was put on this earth to do, which is to help empower and educate women to build their businesses.
Mm,
And when I can fill my cup and do what I'm made to do, then the rest of the family life just kind of falls in place.
yeah, yeah. So you're praying to Jesus, slathering oil on yourself in a yoga pose. I can see it. I can see it. I'm kidding, obviously. Yeah, those 3 things are great. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so spirituality is a huge part, I think, of creating a sense of calmness in yoga. Yeah, all good stuff. All good stuff. Okay, so Melissa, if somebody's listening right now and they're feeling really stressed, really overwhelmed, and they're thinking, I don't know, I don't even know if I want to keep doing this business. I've only been doing it for like maybe 12 months, but I'm not making a lot of money. I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed. My partner's kind of questioning things. Like, what would you say to her?
I would say, friend, I want you to remember why you started this. You have an incredible gift to give to this world. And yes, things can be overwhelming and frustrating and tiring. And I get it, because I have been there and I'm still there some days. But you're made to do something much bigger than sometimes a paycheck can even provide. And I want you to remember why you're doing this. So try really hard not to focus on the things that are going wrong, and focus on the things you have control over, and set one goal for yourself today, whether that's reaching out to a friend to say, hey, I need you to hold me accountable to working out, or hey, I need you to hold me accountable to making sure that I clear my inbox out. Whatever it is, one goal for today, so that you're not overwhelmed with the 100 things that have to happen. Start with one thing, and then every day work through that one thing and remember why you're doing this, why you started this.
Yes, so powerful. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing that encouragement. All right, so theblushpages.com, and of course, we'll have links to your personal website, melissakoehler.net, and all your social media accounts. But we want to make sure people are heading over to theblushpages.com and they'll check it out. So,
Yes.
Melissa, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I'm so happy to be able to talk to you. Thank you.